Here's Chapter 4, Lesson 2. Our essential question in this chapter is how can I communicate multiplication? Today's lesson we're going to round to estimate products. To estimate products, you can round factors to their greatest place. And rounding to the highest place value means you can solve a basic fact like we did in Lesson 1. So, before I show you what they rounded there, here's question number 1. There are passenger trains in the world that can travel at 267 miles per hour. About how far could a train travel in 3 hours? So this is a piece of information I need, and 3 hours is another piece of information I'll need to solve this problem. And my question is, about how far could a train travel in 3 hours? And we're going to estimate 3 times 267. It'll also help us to check to determine reasonableness of our answer. We're going to round 267 to its greatest place value, and then we'll use basic facts to multiply. So I've got 267, and it says to round to the greatest place, so I'm going to round to the hundredths place. So I'm going to underline that hundreds. Circle the one that I underlined and the one before it. And I've got 26. And if I drew out a number line and I had 20 on one side and 30 on the other, you'd have 35 right in the middle. And 26 would be on this side of that. So 26 is going to round up to 30, so 267 is going to round up to 300. Now remember those basic facts. Basic fact for this would be 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. And now I'm going to move the decimal or add the zeros to get to the hundredths place. To which place was 267 rounded? 267 was rounded to the hundredths place. 267 was rounded to the hundredths place. Since 267 was rounded up, the estimated product is greater than the actual product. So the train can travel about 900 miles in 3 hours. Thanks. It doesn't like me being that close to the bottom of the page. Let's do this. 900 miles in, see if I can do it higher up, 3 hours. Okay, so the train can travel about 900 miles in 3 hours. And that's example number 1. Here is example number 2. We're going to estimate 8 times 2,496. Round 2,496 to the thousands place value. Then multiply using basic facts and patterns. So I'm going to underline and circle. So I underline the place value that I'm rounding to, which is the thousands place, and I circled that and the one before it, so now my number is 24. And just to help visualize what you should be thinking in your head, I drew the number line 20 to 30, and 25 is in the middle. 24 would be about here, so that is less, so that would round down to 20. So I'm going to have still 8 times, but instead of having 24, I'm going to round down to 20. And since those other numbers or digits are to the right, they round down, they go to 0. And look at your basic fact. 8 times 2 is 16. Move the decimal or write the zeros. So 8 times 2,496 is about 16,000. Now here's something to remember what they've got written right above, which I skipped over. It's important to remember, because this is going to come up later, since the number was rounded down, the estimated product is less than the actual product. We went down to 20, so our estimate will be less than the actual answer. That's important to remember. Okay, example 3. Lacey's older brother is going to a 4-year college. The cost of his tuition is $8,562 each year. About how much will 4 years of college tuition cost? Okay, what do I need to know? Cost of his tuition is $8,000. Oops, wrong color. Is $8,562 each year. And we need to know he's going for 4 years. Our question is, how much will 4 years of college tuition cost? And since it says about, that's a key word that tells me I can round. So I'm going to estimate 8,562. Underline the place I'm rounding to. Circle that and the one before it. And remember, when we've got that 5, even though it's right in the middle of the number line, we're going to round it up. So 85 rounds up to 90. And these two, the 6 and the 2, are both going to go to zeros. So we've got 4 times 9,000, but our basic fact is 4 times 9. 4 times 9 is 36. And then going back to our actual problem, we need to add those zeros. Since 8,562 was rounded up, the estimated product is greater than the actual product. So tuition will cost about $36,000. And there's the checks for the estimation of these word problems. You're going to do the same thing to your own, and you're going to decide whether you rounded up and the estimate is greater than, or you rounded down and the estimate will be less than the actual answer. So don't forget, when you finish this, remember, did I round up? Then it's greater than. Did I round down? Then I need to circle less than. Now before I leave, I wanted to point out something on page 206, the problem solving page. Number 14 is technically a division problem, but if that's frustrating and confusing to you, you can turn it around and solve it as a multiplication equation with a missing factor. So you can write it as multiplication where you have the product and you're just missing one of the variables. So don't get frustrated by the division, just switch it around and do it a multiplication with a missing factor.